everyone, this is Chenelle. And she is a dancer and a choreographer and a holistic coach and a mama of 3 and a wife and just a light in this world. Oh. And I'm so excited to have this chat with you.
I am so excited. When you asked me to come, I was like, yes, what time? When can we make this happen?
Because you're in LA for just a few days, so I'm so grateful that you're doing this. It's awesome. We met, I think, 4 years ago. We just chatted about this.
Yeah.
And I remember something that you said. It was one of the first conversations we had, like sitting down, like getting to know each other.
Yeah.
Because I found out that you're a mom.
Yeah.
Because I had been living this life of just like pursuing dancing and like that was like my everything, left my family behind. And you said to me, imagine waking up and doing something that matters. Because you were talking about taking care of your children.
Yeah.
And that like stuck to me. And it's like, I still remember it today. I also just feel like it shows so much of who you are as a human, because it's like what really matters, you know? Like we can pursue all these external things.
Yeah. I feel like that was the thing that kept me so grounded in LA, because it's a crazy city. Like it's crazy here. Things get hard and there's a lot of options and choices to make. And I look at my career in hindsight now and I'm like, the thing that kept me so grounded was like waking up and changing poopy diapers and making tiny children breakfast and getting bossed around to put on Coco Melon. And then it was like, okay, I'm gonna go to an audition now. And so when I was there, that was like the thing that I did for me and for my fulfillment and my inspiration and my creativity. And I never was like, I don't know, I just feel like I didn't really get into a really unhealthy place with dance, and there were a lot of things I didn't get, and it was still hard, and I had a lot of no's and a lot of things that were really hard to process and deal with. But I went home to like so much unconditional love that it was like, oh, that doesn't matter. Like whether they say yes or no, I don't care, because I have everything already. Like, I don't know. I feel like it just kept me very centered on like what I wanted and really clear in my goals, so I could say no to things that I'm like, oh, I just don't have time for that. Or I would rather be with my children than take that paycheck or do that thing. It made me really clear in my no, which I think is huge here, to not feel like you have to say yes to everything all the time, you know, because that's like such a lack mentality, I think, rather than like, what do I actually want to create and sticking to that. So.
That's beautiful. Wow. In my own way, I can relate to that if I've been in a really incredible relationship at the time, something that's been really valuable. But I know that when you have kids, it's even like it's on a whole other level. Right. That's just the level that I can relate to that, being totally. That if you're in a relationship with someone that really means a lot to you, that's when you put the things get in a wider perspective in some way.
Or even people who like move here and like, or even grew up here and like have their family. It's like a different thing to go home and have a whole separate life than having dance and auditioning and acting and castings be like your identity. Like that is hard. I think for me personally, like I would get swallowed up in it because it is so overwhelming and there's so much information coming in constantly. Yeah.
You and your husband have been together for how many years?
Oh my gosh, forever. Since I met him in 2005. We got married in 2009. So, math.
That's a long many years.
Like 13 years.
That's incredible. Married. Wow. Yeah. It seems from just me watching from the outside that you guys are so supportive to each other. You're in LA right now. He's taking care of your kids, right?
Oh my gosh, he's a champ. Yeah. I'm like, okay, bye. But I think
you also always show so much gratitude. If we've ever talked about him, you always just share how incredible he is, which is
because this is like, I don't know. I feel like I hear this a lot, and not from like this perspective, but there are so many times that women, especially, will say like, "How does your husband let you do that?" Or like, "My husband would never let me do that." And I'm like, my husband doesn't let me do a damn thing. Like, I'm not asking permission. I'm just like, they are also your children. We created this life together. I have dreams. He has dreams. I want to support him fully in what he's creating, because that just makes him happier and better and our family more successful. And I'm very grateful that he does that for me. But that's also, I wouldn't have chosen anything different. Like, I wouldn't accept anything different, because that's not fair for anyone to have to like kill their joy or who they are in order to be with you. So yeah, I definitely think I chose the right one. I hope to all people that like you can just know that you deserve to be exactly who you are, no matter who you are with. your dreams are important and your voice is important. And
that's a really good inspiration for all of us, like when looking for a partner or if you're in a relationship. And I think there is someone like that for everyone, right? And where there is this like equalness where you respect and support each other.
It's the respect first and foremost of like, and that's been a struggle. That's not necessarily been easy. And there are a lot of times that we've butt heads, or even times that like I've wanted to go do something or wanted to go travel or wanted to go on a trip or whatever, and it's like, oh, I can't. I also have to be humble enough to be like, oh, I have to sacrifice the thing I want in this moment because it doesn't work for my family. You know, so it's like the give and take of like when it's important to me and it's something that's furthering the bigger picture, I'm always going to take advantage of it, and I know he's always going to support that, and I would do the same for him. But it's also the respect on the other end of like, I'm only going to leave our family when it really serves the bigger picture of our family. So it's just a mutual understanding. Of like, okay, if you got to go, go. And if I don't have to go, I have to be like, do I really need to be doing that? Like I said, it's the clarity of like being really, really clear and feeling into the energy of what the situation is. Does it actually make me better, and by that make my family better? Or is it more like selfishly ego driven? And then I have to be like, okay, I don't need to do that.
Wow.
And that's hard.
That's
so hard because
I'm actually curious, because I think a lot of people who are in relationships, they're like, how do I build this with my partner? How do I build a relationship where we talk? Like, how do you go through these struggles or challenges? I don't know what we can call it whenever something does come up.
I think the biggest thing is communication, and first and foremost, like knowing who you are, knowing like what is the biggest dream of your life? What do you want to do? Who do you want to be? What are the steps to getting there? And then communicating that. And for me, it was like when things started coming up in LA, I already had one child and a home in another state, and was like, this sounds crazy, but I think I have to move to a whole other state to pursue my career. And just making sure I'm really clear on that so that we can communicate openly. And there was a lot of friction there for a long time, but also being okay with like, in the beginning, I'm going to be honest, my husband wasn't super supportive of this idea. It was very like, he didn't see the vision. He didn't understand it, probably thought I was crazy, but I had to also be brave enough to do it anyways, because I felt how true it was for me. And I didn't know what was waiting for me here, but I knew something was calling me to be here. And I trust my creator more than I trust any human being on the planet. So it's like, okay, if I'm hearing that so clear as day, I have to go do that. And I hope you'll come with me. But if you won't, I'm going to go anyways. And
wow.
That's a really big...
That's brave.
Like, I obviously don't want to ever lose my family or lose that relationship. But at the end of the day, my relationship with my God and myself are more important to me. And I hope more important to my husband. And I hope more important to my children, their own internal compass and relationship. It's like, if I'm in right relationship with myself and my creator, everything else is going to work itself out. And if you're not there, then that's what it is. And you can't have that attachment to like people and that dependency on like, I need you to believe me. I need you to go where I'm going. I need you to see what I'm seeing. It's like, that's control and ego still, you know?
That's one of the things I admire so much with you. Have you always trusted your inner intuition, gut, spiritual, I don't know, whatever you want to call, have you always, or has that been like a growth journey within you?
I feel like I always, like even from the time I was very little, I had a kind of a crazy childhood, as many of us did, like a very traumatic childhood, and not a lot of parental guidance, actually very little to no parental guidance or support or boundary. So I, from a very early age, grew up listening to what I believe is God and to my own internal compass, and was kind of in survival mode from like age 5, like really. So by the time I became an adult, it was like, if anybody's going to step into that, I know that voice in my heart so clearly. It's like resounding. It's undeniable for me. So the practice in that is like, yes, I always heard it and I always trusted it. But the practice for me was using my voice to express it to other people. And I was like a yes person for a long time. And even with my husband. And that's like when it kind of gets confronting, when it's like, oh, I'm not doing things to agree with you anymore. I'm doing things for myself. And that was like a new respect that we had to build of him being like, oh, okay, like but we also met when we were children. So like I was 14 or 15. So that's just the process of developing into a woman and using my voice and expressing myself and setting up boundaries. Like that's everybody's life struggle, right? So I just had to do it in relationship with the same person the whole time. But I think it's very similar to experiences we all have, whether it's a friend or a lover or a family member or a child or whatever. Yeah, for me, the hard part was using my voice to express what I was knowing to be true for myself and feeling really comfortable and confident in whatever the result would be, like letting go of the attachment. Because it did used to really hurt my heart if anyone, especially my husband, but anyone didn't see the vision or didn't believe in me or didn't trust what I was seeing. And now I'm like, oh, I don't care if anybody believes in me. Like I believe so fully in myself. I don't need that from anybody. And I have proven to myself over and over and over again that I am capable of manifesting beautiful things in my life that are true and inspiring and authentic and bless my family too with relationships and people and money and, you know.
Oh my gosh, so beautiful.
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just going along and it's working out. So.
Oh my gosh, I feel like you're doing everything right. I'm like wanting to soak it all in and take it on because that is such a challenge. Trusting that your inner gut intuition knows better and then letting go of that attachment.
Yeah.
And control.
Yeah.
I like to be in control. So it is a freaking challenge.
It's hard.
It is.
But there are still things like I'm thinking, even as you're saying that, I'm like, oh, there are still areas of my life where I do that. And then I have to look at that and be like, oh, now we're uncovering that one. And it might not be communication with my husband or communication with my children or my family, but it's like, it's not like I've got it figured out. I'm just like, okay, I think I figured out that one. Now
that's life.
This one.
Yeah, that's life, right?
Yeah.
Even Oprah is still working on things. Like it's a never-ending journey, but it gets better and better the more you uncover, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm really curious. What does a routine look like? A daily routine? I know you don't with work. It like changes up.
Yeah.
But like, how do you take time for yourself before maybe your kids wake up, or like, how is your daily day to day?
This is actually so important to me. I created an entire program around it. I literally created my ritual reset program around this. So my life is crazy chaotic. I've got 3 children, a husband, businesses, a job. Like it's just everything's changing in my life all the time. Kids' schedules now that they're getting older. So it was so important to me to establish some sort of structure because my day-to-day could easily have no structure ever. And like I could get lost in this tornado. And I think many mothers especially really get lost in that chasing the day rather than for me, I was like, I have to own my day. Like I have to be the one in charge of it or I am anxious and angry and reactive and depressed. And like, it's a lot to not feel like I'm in control of myself in my day. So I created my ritual reset program. And for me, that looks like making sure I'm waking up, and these things change order, but it's like always waking up with my gratitude and meditation and prayer and taking a cold shower, breath work. And then even like down to the way I eat and the times I eat, I'm very much a creature of habit, and those things keep me sane. It's like I have all these little rituals throughout the day that are probably like just normal. I'm sure some people can do it all by themselves and that's amazing. But for me personally, like I needed a roadmap of like, okay, if everything else is chaos, here are the things that I can just grab onto to keep me centered and grounded and coming back to myself repeatedly throughout the day, not just like once in the morning, but like from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed, I have a limitless number of tools that I can access to be like, okay, what do I need right now? And then it's like drinking my lemon water in the morning or a green juice, or even like the way I make my coffee or the way I make my matcha. It's like a ritual for me. The mundane things have become the most sacred part of my day. Like it's the little things that are keeping me sane and also just like make every day vibrant and like technicolor sacred experience, even though it's like the way I take a shower or the way I write my to-do list. So yeah, I don't know if I answered your question.
Oh, 100%. That's beautiful. I love that. Like, I feel like you can tell your kids what to do, but really they will just match your patterns, right? They will just really grow up to become what you are, not what you say.
Exactly. Like they do what you do.
Like I feel like you can tell your kids what to do, but really they will just match your patterns, right? They will just really grow up to become what you are, not what you say.
Exactly. Like they do what you do.
Is that like
not what you say?
is that a motivator for you as well to stay centered, or is it because for you?
Yeah, I would definitely say both, because like it is for me. I don't know. I always want to keep my identity, and always am asking myself, like, who is Chenelle in the world? Not like who is my children's mom, who is Jordan's wife, who is this person's employee. Like, who am I just in my own identity? That's really important to me. And also, I think in having children, anybody who's a parent will understand, like, you see your patterns in your children, or I do at least, and it can be very confronting. Like if I am seeing a pattern that I don't like in one of my children, in the way they behave or the way they don't clean up after themselves or whatever, they're just being children. A lot of that is learned behavior, and I know exactly which ones came from me. I know exactly which ones came from my husband. I know which things are their own individual identity or things they picked up from friends. So it is really motivating for me when I see negative patterns in my children, that I'm like, oh, that's 100% my fault. Like you do that because of me. It's you didn't know any different. So that to me is really inspiring to keep myself accountable, just to be like, oh, they're always watching. Even when I don't realize they're watching, they're learning from me and from the world all the time. I hope that I can be the lighthouse for them. That's like, oh, this is the healthiest way to approach my life. And that's hard because I'm very imperfect at it, but it's very confronting to see that in just like a tiny, pure, innocent human when they start to develop their own patterns, and you're like, oh, that's generational. That's literally generational trauma in front of me. So then it's like my responsibility immediately to try and untangle that and heal that, so that they don't live an entire life with that pattern, you know?
You were talking about living for you, not being someone's mom.
Yeah.
What are the things that you're working towards right now, the goals you have, the dreams that you have for you currently?
So many. Oh my gosh, so many. I am currently developing a bioenergetic wellness platform and modality that I'm very excited about. It's been years in the making, and that to me is like my life's work. It's a culmination of everything I've done for over a decade, and really since I was a child, like seeing how those things want to express themselves in the world. So making sure I spend time on that every single day is so important to me. And even if it's 15 minutes to like go over my logo or brand look or a design or answer emails, to me, those things make me feel like, oh, I did something for Chenelle today. And I can constantly there's always someone that needs me. There's always something to be done, but making sure I carve out that time, even to like take a shower and put my makeup on and wear a cute outfit. I'm like, oh, this was for me today, to feel like a human and not like I'm just like trying to keep up with my life. And you all can wait. I'm going to take a shower and do what I need to do. It's like not being afraid to like let my kids be bored and need me.
Yeah.
Like that's okay.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's probably even healthy for them, right?
Yeah. Cause I'm like, I will be with you. And when I'm with you, I'm fully present and I love it. Like I love being a mom, and I don't show up well when I don't show up for me first. So there's that. Going back to like dreams, I'm writing a book right now. Virtual Reset is actually kind of shifting.
I just got shivers.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
A long process. Who knew? So this could be years before it makes its way to actual physical, tangible product, but it's well on its way, and it's really exciting and very, very special to me. But yeah, there's so many dreams. I literally feel like I think of a new thing every day. It's like, how do you choose which one to focus on? Because I'm like, there's limitless things to accomplish on this planet. There's so much we could do. I want to experience it all. So it's like just choosing one thing and focusing on that. And right now it's really like my program that's launching soon, and my book, and like retreats, and kind of more in the wellness space. Establishing.
Amazing. Is that because it's brought you so much joy that you want to bring that to others? Yeah.
Absolutely. I feel like for years and years, and I think this is important. Like I just went through that process as a student for a long time. I feel like I started really like waking up and changing my life right before my son was born. So probably 2012-ish. And yeah, for a long time was just receiving everything and changing my life and breaking my own patterns and really like waking up to who I wanted to be as a human being in the world and what I think the world collectively needs. And I've finally gotten to a space now where I'm like, oh, I didn't realize I had walked through so many of these things and I'm on the other side of them now. It's like when you're in it, I'm like, I can't teach anybody how to do anything with their life. I've got no idea what I'm doing. And then once there's still so many areas of my life where I feel like that, but there are other areas of my life where I'm like, oh, I can teach you how to walk through that because I did that too. So yeah, it's like knowing the things that have really helped me and healed me and saved my life and my family and my career. I can't wait to share those things, like just those tools with people because it is so practical and simple and we make it so hard and it's really very simple. I wish I had someone who was like, here, let me help you. Because I was like flailing through the world, like, what is happening? Yeah.
Yeah, but that's also why you've gotten so wise, right? Because you've gone through all those.
I guess I had to learn it all the hard way. So
yeah.
I can hopefully help other people not do that.
You already helped so many people.
Yes.
I'm curious because you're here right now in LA for a dance job.
Yeah.
How is because I've gone away from being a professional dancer a lot as well, but I love doing it sometimes. Like it seems like you're the same. Like you have other goals, but you also still love dance.
I love it.
So where do you stand with dance right now?
Okay, where I stand with dance is it's the most beautiful, sacred, celebratory, sad, exciting, anxious, all the emotions thing in my life. I love it. I'm obsessed with it. It's in my DNA. It's who I am as a human. I cannot get rid of dance. How I feel about the industry is very different than how I feel about dance. So I think we all go through this as creators and artists, that it's like it just got to a place where I was seeing things that were really unhealthy that I didn't want to participate in and systems that I don't want to continue, or at least that I'll never put my energy into. So it was like calling all those things back to myself and being like, okay, I'm going to control this journey now. I'm not going to wait for someone to give me permission or validate me in any way. And then I feel like everything that's coming in is so meaningful and exciting and with people that I love and respect and admire that I'm like, I hope I can dance forever. I never want to stop doing that. And I always want to be open to those opportunities and open to those opportunities to create choreography and to teach and to nurture the next generation of dancers. But I'm very, very, very picky now on what I say yes to. And I'm not at every cattle call trying to get booked. It's my priorities have shifted. And I loved that part of my life. And I think you only know if you know, like if you've walked through that specific journey, it's challenging, but also exciting. And I just think I've graduated from that. So I'm like, I want to do it differently now. And
that's a beautiful place to be.
Yeah.
To be able to pick and choose more. Also that you have these other things going on. And then the joy doesn't go away from dance. At least that's something I feel like when dance was my one and only thing, that thing of like being judged and needing that validation, because literally otherwise you wouldn't be able to book jobs. You wouldn't be able to get work. Yeah. So it was this like race towards like me, because otherwise there would be no dance career, right?
Yeah.
So it's an awesome place to be now in your career that you can.
Crazy.
The one we did together, where we met, that was a cool experience.
That was super fun.
Yeah, we did. We danced in Miami for what was it? The Spanish version of the music awards or something, and it was just Bieber's choreographer, which I remember. I felt like this was so cool.
Oh, I know.
But also just like it was a great group of people, and that was a good time.
I do feel like I've gotten pretty lucky. Like I don't really have a lot of horror job stories.
That's good. I feel like you also attract, right? Like what you put out, you get back.
Yeah.
I
like thinking about it, and like that was amazing. And I made like literally lifelong friends on that job. And then I look at just like my career in general, and I'm sure your career, and it's like, oh yeah, this is when you treat every job like it's special. And that's, I think, exactly what you're saying about not losing the joy in dance. It's like when you show up bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and like in awe of the environment, no matter what it is, if it's like a one-off gig or if it's a tour, like if you can show up with that same childlike energy of like joy and excitement, it becomes a really beautiful, impactful experience rather than just like a paycheck and a job. And like every job is not glamorous. Sometimes you're not always like getting water when you need it, or rest when you need it, or food when you need it. And there are things that like aren't amazing at the end of the day, but like if you can come in grateful, those things are just part of the story, and like it happens, you know.
Yeah.
And have more compassion for like the production team and the choreographer and all the moving parts that are trying to make this project happen, instead of just like me, and I need more money and I need more blow and I need blah. Like no one wants to work with that person who's just never happy.
Yeah, staying open-minded and positive in any situation is always, it goes back to what we were talking about, being a mom and being a wife. Like, it's the same.
Yeah, same attitude.
Yeah.
Like the same mindset,
Yeah.
no matter where you are.
Yeah, and that comes from what you were saying about really taking care of yourself, knowing who you are, and doing these routines every single day, going back to the things we know that work, that fill up our soul with this energy, and like...
And being able to use your voice in a way that's like kind and compassionate. I feel like I can be very clear and very direct without being an a-hole. Like, you don't have to be mean to get your point across. And to me, that just shows such a lack of self-awareness. Like, when you feel like you have to be mean to someone to be understood, I'm like, oh, yeah, like if I'm on a set and I'm not getting water and I'm thirsty, I can very directly say like, I need water without being a diva.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just like a different energy of like, you can just communicate clearly and demand more respect for yourself.
Yeah.
Without hurting people along the way.
And I think that goes back to you like being authentic with yourself, because you say it when you need it rather than when it's past the point of having needed it maybe for hours or days.
And I've like gossiped to the whole entire crew about it or something.
Where you've gotten, no, it's the same in relationships, right?
Yes.
Like if we just say the things as they are right away, we don't build up this tension that at the end ends up maybe being an argument or something that didn't need to be, because it was just like this tiny little thing. But because we weren't authentic in the moment, it builds up.
Yes, and then it's like this internal dialogue that becomes a whole other beast. I don't know. I'm very much about like, I wouldn't say I'm a confrontational person, but I am unafraid to lean into an uncomfortable conversation. Like I don't know, it's going to sound weird. Like I like seek that out at this point. If there's something that doesn't feel right, I'm like, oh, I'm going to acknowledge that directly right here, right now. And for me, I think that stems in just like having 3 children. I literally don't have time for like, I can't save that for later because there's a whole tornado of things happening later. So it's like I have to be direct and in the moment and like, oh, that didn't feel good, or no, I don't want to do that job, or oh, this rate is too low for me, or that's whatever. Like you can speak on that immediately, and
that is a power to be able to do that.
Like we don't always have to agree, and that's fine. Like I recently just turned down a job that was like a dream job, but like the rate was not correct for me and where I'm at, and it was hard to be like, oh, I can't be that person for you because I want to say yes because it's amazing, but also like, I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings, but no, I can't do that. And
maybe some people, it'll hurt their ego in the moment, but I think that people will respect someone like that more at the end than someone who, because I feel like you can feel that it comes from a place of respecting yourself.
Yes.
And therefore, like, it will also be received that way. And
I think a humility of like, I'm just thinking for like other people listening to translate that to their own life, like a humility of knowing your worth, knowing your value, and also like not overvaluing your work. Like there are some people I feel like are maybe not having success in their careers because they're demanding all these things that they haven't earned yet. And it's like, I know what I've earned, and I'm not going to ask for more than I've earned because I want to earn my right to be in certain spaces, and I want to earn my right to be in certain levels of my life. So it's gotten a lot easier to say no to things like that because I'm very clear and like I've earned more than that. And if I accept that, that's me going back to a version of myself that I've already transcended. That's again coming from like lack and a need for money, or a need for attention, or a need for a job, or a need for an Instagram post, where it's like I don't need that. And I just quite frankly don't have the time unless the rate is equal to the exchange. I can't create the space for that in my life. It doesn't exist yet. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's a hard lesson too. And that's not, a recovering, yes, woman. So I get it.
That's inspiring. I think
Hard.
not just women, I think all humans need that.
Yeah.
It's something that's come up a lot. I'm doing like November challenge right now where we have these weekly chats, and that's something that has come up a lot as well, being able to know your worth, being able to know when to say yes and no, and respecting yourself. And so it's really needed in the world right now.
And it's hard, especially if you're not used to it. Like, it is hard, or was hard for me to use my voice in the beginning, and I was so afraid of like hurting anyone's feelings, but I was so afraid of hurting everyone else's feelings that instead I just was always hurting my own. Yeah. It's like, okay, at the end of the day, do I want to feel worthless and undervalued and not heard and not seen and not taken seriously? Or can I just like, and the true result is I don't really feel like me standing up for myself has ever really hurt somebody else. Like, me taking care of myself has only made my relationship stronger and brighter and better and more respectful and more aligned. There has been no negative that has come out of that. That was such an internal dialogue that was fear-based, that wasn't actually real once I started living truly how I wanted to be in the world. That's a scary thing to step into.
But when you have self-love, you also treat other people better. Yes. So I could imagine it's only made your relationships a lot better. And the people maybe that can't handle it, you maybe weren't supposed to be friends with anyway, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. That's amazing. I know you have a million things that you have to do in LA while you're here. So I do have a final question for you. But first, I'm sure so many people want to check out your stuff and just like keep up with the book and everything that you're creating right now. So
it might be a while, but I'm just putting it out there so that it keeps going.
Yes, but you have a program already that they could go look into to create these habits and rituals in their day. Yeah. So where can people go find you?
I am on Instagram at Chenelle Monique, pretty much across all socials, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Pinterest, if you're there, at Chenelle Monique. And then my website is www.chenellemonique.com, and that's where I keep all of my nutrition programs, my health and wellness programs, any updates or career opportunities, like show opportunities if you want to come see. That's kind of just where I keep everyone connected on the same page, because it does kind of feel like all the platforms are kind of, it's like a different community everywhere. Yeah. So, and
I'll link all of that in the show notes so you guys can go click and check it out. Okay, so this podcast is called Challenge Your Norm, because I like to challenge my norm to grow and get out of my comfort zone. If you had one advice to people that you would recommend that they challenge their norm, what would that be?
This is funny because I was literally just thinking about this in the previous question, and I was like, I don't need to say that. I think the thing for me that has been really crucial and is still to me very, very important is, like, so often we want to challenge our norm in like waking up at a different time or doing a different action, or I don't know, writing down 5 more things that we're grateful for or something like that. And for me, the biggest growth, all those things are important. And the biggest growth for me has come in challenging my norm in the way I receive feedback and receive information. And I think that to me has been so key in like why I'm so grateful for my marriage or my long-term relationships or my relationships with my children, because they challenge the way that I think. And just like, I think it's so important to not only have like diversity in communities, but diversity in thought in communities, and surrounding yourself with people who think completely opposite of you, and being able to hold their viewpoint with compassion and actually challenge and interrogate your own beliefs and your own thoughts and your own values, and be 100% willing to be like, I could let go of all of that and completely accept this new truth. And then if it doesn't feel right, then you're like, oh, I know that's not right for me, and I'm going to stay with the truth that I know to be true. But not to be afraid of hearing like different viewpoints and different perspectives that really, really challenge your belief system, because I think you don't really know what you believe until you know what you don't believe. And oftentimes I think we want to be in these like echo chambers of thought where everyone thinks like us and agrees like us. And the truth is, no matter what side of any opinion you're on, there are people that are very well educated, that are very well researched, that are very well thought out, and have a completely different view than you. And I just think that's really important, to stay open to hearing. Like, we have billions of people on this planet, and each of us has a unique perspective and a unique situation and unique experiences that we've seen with our own eyes and experienced. And I think that's like, the world needs more people to be able to be challenged in their thoughts and in their values and in their opinions, so that we all intrinsically really know who we are and what we believe, and can allow other people to live their own truth and still have compassion, even though it might be the opposite of us.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. You are just a light and an inspiration, and thank you for like coming here and sharing so much wisdom. Like, I need to re-listen to this again and again and again, because like there's so many nuggets in this.
Oh God.
I am so grateful. Thank you so much. Also, just for showing up every day for your children, for your husband, for the communities that you've built over the years. Like, just thank you for showing up for the world. We need more people like you. It's amazing.
We just need so many more people who just like love themselves fully and know who they are and want to be fully expressed in the world, like honestly and raw and authentic and messy and imperfect, but like doing their best.
And you are such a great example of that. And I know that people listening to this, it will inspire them to go out and do that. It definitely has inspired me to go out and do that. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you for being here. I'm like so grateful and so happy.
Me too.
Being on your couch.
Thank you. I'm so
early in the morning in our pajamas, just having this conversation.